Hi, I've got Jeff Nixon with me today. He is a Buffalo Bills alumni. I'm very excited because the Bills are my team, as you can tell. And I've loved the Bills since 1980, and that was Jeff's second year in the league. So welcome, Jeff. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Aaron, thanks for inviting me. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So one of the things I was telling you, I love the Bills. I'm an Oregon kid, and we didn't have a team. So in 1980, this set of Topps cards came out, and there's you.
That was
And
great.
Joe Cribbs, the logo, that you were, kind of an up and coming team that was kind of an underdog. And also I loved Native Americans and everything about them. So the Buffalo, and the lore. So this card was one of my first as like, okay, this is gonna be my team. And then now 50 years-ish later, still my team and still waiting for that first Super Bowl. So
Yeah, we
so
all are.
yep, yep, yep. I'm hoping, but um, the other card I have, I'm a card collector too, is this Bell's Market card
Hmm.
of you from your rookie year, I think. Do you remember taking that picture or anything?
Yeah, I think I was hung over from the night before when I still have like a day or 2 days growth on my face, and
Yeah,
I didn't look very good in that one.
yeah. Do they do those at training camp or when was
Yeah,
that? Do
they
you
actually
remember?
came out to Niagara Falls. That's where we had our camp at that time,
Okay,
right on Niagara University campus, then they moved to Fredonia eventually, and then from
okay.
there went to St. John Fisher in Rochester.
Okay, cool. And so do you get like I just don't know how it works. Did you get money from like Tops or Bells for being in their card or was
Back
it
at
just
that
like
time, no, they
yeah.
just took it. The NFL said, "Here you go, just give us our cut,"
Oh,
but
okay.
they didn't funnel any down to us. Now, back in I believe it was 1993, we signed a collective bargaining agreement that finally started giving us the players, but this is after my time, but it
Yeah.
started giving players a piece of that money.
Oh, okay.
Players sign a form when they make the team every year. Every player signs it, and it allows the NFL and the NFL Players Association to market them, but it also allows the player to make some money with that too.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. So I know one of your big things is you live right there in Buffalo and you're still active with the Buffalo Bills Alumni Association.
I'm the president of the Buffalo Bills Alumni
Oh,
Association.
awesome. Oh, cool. So tell
I've
me
been doing
what
it
what
now
that
since,
entails.
say that what that entails.
Yeah.
Well, I'm basically responsible for setting the agenda for the organization with input from my vice president, treasurer, and other people that have been around for a long time, and basically making sure the minutes are recorded, and just overseeing all the operations of our alumni, and that's pretty considerable. We do about 4 events a year, big events a year. We have a big golf tournament we do. We have a
Okay.
meat raffle that we do. Um, we've got a music fest. The first time ever we did one last year. We're going to be doing a fishing tournament come August.
Oh, cool.
Uh, we got a lot of things that are planned. Getting them implemented. That's the next
Yeah.
step.
Cool. That's neat. And are there a lot of guys locally there? Or do they come from other places for these events?
Basically, we're with the guys that are here locally.
Okay.
Now I do keep all the alumni informed. I have a big email list. We send out information from time to time. Those guys may come into town. We
Hmm.
may coordinate with them and do a fundraiser with them, or help them with their own foundation.
Okay.
Uh, and so, it's a, it's fun. It's good to see all the guys that I played with from time to time. And it's
Right.
I was a little disappointed. This was the last year that they played at the stadium,
Hmm.
and I was assuming that they were going to bring in tons of guys just to walk along the sideline, wave to the crowd, and then
Right.
go. The halftime ceremony was only 18 of us that they
Okay.
had brought in, and I a little disappointed with that. I thought they could have done a little bit more in that area, but um, I understand its cost. And Pagula seems to be very obsessed with the cost of things lately.
Yeah.
So they had at one time the Jim Kelly Club Suites and the Van Miller Club Suite. Well, they took their names off, and
Hmm.
they turned it to, Dun Tire Club, and things like
Yeah,
that, where they're making money off the name of the organization or the company that's
yeah,
bid enough money to get. So,
yeah, yeah. I guess those billionaires, it's all about the bottom line. So,
well, we gave them $840 million for this new stadium, tax
oh well,
dollars.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
I did see that picture. It looked like Joe DeLamielleure was there, and
yeah,
a few of you guys. Are there any of the guys from the 64-65 championship era that are involved or that are still around
yeah.
Buffalo?
Booker Edgison and Ed Rakowski and are probably the two that are most involved with our alumni. We had a real nice ceremony out at the old stadium, the old stadium. We called it the Rock Pile back
Yeah.
then, right in the heart of the city of Buffalo. I'm only maybe 5 minutes away from it where I live.
Oh, okay.
Uh, they put a really nice plaque on the wall talking about the 64-65 championship team, and this was, the home of the Buffalo Bills back then, and we had a nice little press conference on it.
Oh, cool.
We were also promoting this movie that they had come out recently called Unbelievable.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's a great little comedy about two families that are getting ready for the Super Bowl party, and the Bills are playing in the game, and they end up winning in the end. Um, yes, it's a fantasy, you know, but it was, oh, that was great. We raised a little bit of money, having the public come to a showing of that that movie.
Nice.
And I would recommend it to anybody. I thought it was pretty funny the way they put that.
Okay, cool. Is that on YouTube or where do you find it? Do you know?
Well, they've been airing it at different theaters throughout the country, and I don't know exactly where you might find it. Like it's not, I don't think it's on Netflix or
Okay.
HBO Max or any of those. You might be able to find it, you know, on YouTube. I don't know.
All
That's
right.
that's a good question. I think it might be able to see it there.
All right. Google it, everybody.
Yeah,
Unbelievable, right?
and they do Bill believe like believe,
Yeah.
unbelievable, so.
Okay. Cool. Nice, nice. Um, so you do a bunch of events, guys get together. Do they kind of like have meet and greet or mingle with fans kind of times, or is it kind of like, you know,
Yeah,
um,
we really get the public involved in all of these events, and then
cool.
and we go around, we sign autographs. In the case of bringing in, like our music fest last year, we brought in Doug Flutie to play drums with
Oh,
our
nice.
Buffalo Bills blues band.
Okay.
I'm the rhythm guitar player. Butch Roll is the lead guitar player. Um, Doug came in and just played drums with our group and with a couple of the other groups that were there too.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that was a really neat thing that we were able to do there. And what was your original question on that? You were
Oh, shoot. I think I was just asking if the public mingles with you
Oh, the
guys at
public,
the
yeah.
at the
So yeah, so what we do is, there's typically a small fee involved in these, like the music fest. We charge $35 per person, which isn't bad. We had 6 hours of music,
oh wow.
different. We had six bands playing, and it was quite an amazing event, But we're in the process right now of offering associate memberships to the public too. And
Okay.
it's $100. You'll get a shirt that has a real nice logo, our logo on it that has, and we had to change the logo. We used to have the Bills logo, and they said you can't use that
Oh,
anymore. That's
okay.
our trademark. If your alumni wants to create their own, they can do that. So we did.
Okay.
I actually think our logo looks better than theirs, but you have
Okay,
to go
cool.
to our website to see it. So if any of your viewers out there or listeners um, want to go check it out, we're at buffalobillsalumni.com.
Okay, great.
At that website, at our website, there's also information on how you can become an associate member. So you'll get a shirt, you'll get discounts on all those events I mentioned.
Oh, great.
Um, we'll put your name on we have like a Hall of Fame board on our website. Your name will be on that. We've got just a lot of different little perks that we give them too. We're at the end of the year, we'll have a big party where everybody can come together. We'll treat them at a local bar or tavern.
Nice.
Um, so we've already got 33 memberships, and we've only been doing it for 30 days.
Okay, cool.
So
That's
it's
great.
that's $3,300 right there that we raised just doing that, and that money's going to all the money that we raise goes to charity.
Oh,
We
awesome.
we had yeah every single cent. The only thing that we pay for is maybe an event manager,
Yeah,
and they usually do it at a very low cost. Most people would charge a lot more than for all the work they do.
yeah.
Um, so anyway, that's where we're at on that. And anytime there's an event out there that sports related, a lot of times they'll ask us to come to it. So we go throughout the year. We just do, probably 100 different events with the public.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
and then some of their events that they have. The Buffalo Jills are Jills alumni, I should say,
Yeah.
are very prominent in the community. We do a lot of work with them. They came to our music fest. They danced. They did
Oh,
some of the
cool.
dances that they used to do. It was pretty fun.
Nice, nice, awesome. So let's jump into your career a little bit. You came in as a rookie and picked off six passes, right? And right off, kind of put up some big numbers that first couple of years. Um, Tell me how that happened, or like, how you just like jumped right into the NFL and had some success.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was a little disappointed first of all that I wasn't a higher round pick. And I found out one of the reasons was that they thought I was slower
Okay.
than what I was. And when I came to the Bills training camp, I ran the fastest 40-yard dash of any player on the team.
Oh, really? Wow.
I ran a 4.46. Jerry Butler had a 4.68.
Hmm.
Um, and so all of a sudden, the very next day in the Buffalo News, my defensive back coach said we couldn't believe how fast he was, and this and that and the
Hmm.
other. And I was like, well, I'm big, long, and lanky, and so my strides may look slower, but I'm covering a lot more ground than the little guys out there.
Yeah. Okay.
I was one of the taller free safeties. I'm 6'4", and then I was about 6'4.5". But now that I'm almost 70, I'm
Right.
starting to, But yeah, it was an amazing thing. Let me tell you a little story. So I drive all the way from Virginia. I used my bonus money, all the whole 20,000 that I got, as a as a way to buy a car. First car I
Okay.
ever owned. I bought it right my senior year in college. Drove it up to Buffalo for the training camp. I get to the stadium and then I find out that's not where the training camp is. It's up in Niagara Falls.
Okay.
I started heading up to Niagara Falls, and on the way, I'm seeing these strange townships, and that are named on the road: Cheektowaga, Tonawanda. I thought it was Tonawanda. I thought it was
Yeah.
named after some woman or something.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that there was such a large Native American population that used to live in these areas. Until they
Oh,
moved out and put on reservations and stuff. So, um, but yeah, that was kind of interesting. That I almost missed the beginning of the training camp because I went to the
oh well.
state instead of where they actually had the site.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
I must not have got the notice.
Yeah. So there were a couple of great safeties on the team when you joined, Steve Freeman and Tony Green. Did they kind of mentor you, or was it more like competitive, like, hey, I don't want to tell these guys my
It's a
secrets, or
little bit of both.
okay.
Particularly between me and Tony Green. Back then, a strong safety and a free safety were a little bit different. Your strong safety really had to be a good run stuffer, and your free safety was your guy that just basically, made sure no long passes went downfield. Now it's interchangeable, strong safety, free safety. I don't even know if they use those terms anymore, strong or
Right.
free. It's just safety. They just say safety. Um, and Tony was, even though he was my competition, he was a very good mentor. He helped me. Anytime I might be screwing up a little bit or something, he would talk to me. Steve too, especially Steve. Steve was like our, you know, the most intellectual of all the guys back there, smartest basically.
Hmm.
And he was the guy that we all looked to make sure that we were in the right positions and doing the right thing. And he was just an amazing player. He didn't have all the great physical skills of maybe what you would want in a strong safety, but man, he was always in the right place at the right time.
Cool.
And when he retired, he went on to become a referee in the NFL, and I think he's still doing that to this day.
Oh wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and the Bills have had, I mean, I was looking back at the Bills safeties and there's been a lot of great safeties in our history. You know,
Yeah.
George Sames and you guys in the 80s and then Mark Kelso and then now, you know, we've got or recently we've had Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and then now we got this young guy Cole Bishop, which he's coming along. What do you see out of Cole Bishop?
I'll tell you what, I was really impressed with him. When he first got in there, he made a few mistakes, made took the wrong angle on some plays, and the guy ran for a touchdown or whatever. But since that time, he's really been a good run stopper, and he's been really good in the secondary. I was impressed with him, I really was, and I think he'll continue to grow.
Yeah.
That you got a good prospect and a good player there.
Yeah, I think this year it was kind of cool to see Jordan Poyer come back, and I kind of think like he was kind of like that Steve Freeman for Cole Bishop,
I know.
kind of teach him the ropes, going, "Hey, go over here, watch out for this." Um,
Disguise your coverage, just different things that you can do to get an advantage. What's the best player to read on a pass play? Just little things like that. Yeah, I'm sure he helped. So
yeah, yeah. So when you were playing, Chuck Knox was your coach. Was he the coach the whole time you were on the Bills?
no,
Okay.
unfortunately, they didn't want to. Ralph didn't want to pay him, what
Yeah,
he was really worth. And
hmm
so Chuck went to Seattle.
yeah.
What a great coach, though. God, I tell you what, he was like just tough as nails, man. And I remember one time we came back from a football game on the West Coast, and it was we went we always go into a big room, and the coach usually comes in and addresses us after the game. And he comes in and he's got a cut on his forehead, a black eye, and a little mark on his cheek, and and we all just went silent. We knew he had gotten in a fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. And so um, he just very calmly went up to the microphone and the podium and said, "Hey, if you think I look bad, you should see the other three guys." you know,
That's
oh,
cool.
he was an amazing guy. He was. I remember one time he put his arm around one of the players on the team, and he's walking, and I'm right behind. I'm listening to him. He goes, "Hey, you know the difference between a champ and a chump? You."
Uh,
He had little things like that all the time, little
Nice.
things that he had. I like this one that he did. It was called "Remember Your Six P's." Perfect practice prevents piss poor performance.
Oh, nice.
So always in practice, you have to practice like you're playing the game, because then it'll improve your performance in the game. And he was so right about that.
Right.
I still steal that little saying that he has.
Nice. Cool, cool. So he was your coach most of the time, and then he had to
And then
leave because he wasn't getting paid.
Came in after that.
Okay.
And Kay didn't do that well.
Yeah.
We had I was on injured reserve in 1984, and um, and I was hoping to come back that year. I was hoping to maybe get back and start playing, and we ended up going 2-14 that year.
Yeah. I remember.
They and then later in the year I wanted to get in, and they said, "Nah, we're not going to the playoffs, so there's no need to rush you back in like this. So we'll just wait till the next year." Well, the next year came and my knee really hadn't improved.
Hmm.
I had had 5 surgeries.
Oh,
The
wow.
last one had been a total reconstruction of my left knee. I
Hmm.
got two 12-inch zippers on each side of my left knee
Oh,
where
wow.
they opened it up, and then they did all just basically all my cruciate ligaments and my medial and lateral collateral ligaments. It was just
Yeah.
a total reconstruct. And then, and back in those days, they didn't really know what they were doing as far as rehabbing. They
Yeah.
left that cast on me for 2 months.
Mm.
Now, when you get a surgery like what I had, they'll take that cast off after 1 week,
Oh,
and
okay.
they'll start getting your knee balanced, or the flexibility back in your knee.
Yeah.
What happens when you wear a cast for like 8 weeks on a leg is that everything heals. And now you got to break what they call adhesions in your knee. And that was torture. That was every
Oh,
day in the
wow.
training room they'd go in, and I'd have big Eddie Abramowski pushing it back, and you'd hear something pop in there, and that
Ugh.
would be adhesion. But at some point it just wouldn't go anymore. So I
Yeah.
lost a lot of my range of motion, and as a result, it slowed me down. And that's probably the reason I was no longer in the NFL.
Yeah.
Lose 2/10 of a second in your 40-yard dash, and you're out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how like, you, Robert James from the Bills, a lot of these guys, their career just ended because of knees. Now,
Yeah.
like Trey White, about a year
Comeback.
off and he's back and he's doing it again.
Yeah, we were
So,
kind of like their guinea pigs, I think, back in those days.
yeah,
They learned a lot from, all of the surgeries that they did on players. We were kind of like the guinea pigs, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So,
Um, I was wondering too, you were part of that Bermuda Triangle defense with Fred Smirlis in the nose guard, and then Haslett and Shane Nelson at the linebackers, and they kind of had posters or whatever, and they were kind of a. What did that do for you guys on the back end, having those guys up front?
oh, it was amazing. I've got one of my videos that I posted on YouTube is a game against the Oakland Raiders when they won. It was the year they won the Super Bowl, and so they came to Buffalo, and there was a play where it was you knew they were going to throw deeper because it was a third and long situation, and so I got back there and I ended up intercepting a pass and um, I'm trying to remember yeah, it was Fred Smerlas was just about ready to sack Pastorini, and Pastorini had to get rid of it in a hurry.
Hmm.
And so it wasn't a very accurate throw, and the ball hit me in the back of the head in the end zone, right in the back of the head. And
Whoa.
right as it hit, I put my hands up. So I didn't obstruct his view before the ball got there because that would have been a penalty.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as the ball hit me, I reached up and, it was, but it was really because Fred Smerlas rushed his pass, and they called him the Bermuda Triangle because any running backs that went in there, they just disappeared. They were
Yeah, nice.
never to be seen again. And but I'm right behind it, so I don't have to worry about them. But there were times when they let a few guys through, and I had to come up and get them.
Yeah.
But what a great trio they were. Those three guys.
Yeah, I read his book, and I guess him and Hazlitt were kind of practical jokers and kind of goofballs. Is that true?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those guys. Freddie and Jim Haslett had a radio show that people listened to during the week, and they were just crazy. They did some off the wall stuff, man. I
Yeah.
don't I don't know if you get away with some of the stuff nowadays, you know.
Cool.
But yeah, good guys, good at heart too. Both of them. Fred had a recent a minor stroke, and
Oh,
he's doing okay, but he's not 100%. I haven't really seen Jim Haslett at any of our functions recently. I'm not real sure what he's doing. He may be back in coaching for all I know. He had a pretty good coaching career after he left the Bills.
right, right. Cool. Were there any other players like you were pretty close with, or like that you have any cool like locker room on the field, any anecdotes about some of the characters?
And I'll tell you what, we have so many different characters on that team. Isaiah Robertson,
Mm.
he was just insane. I hung out with Rod Cush a lot.
Okay,
Rod was a safety they picked up. I think it was the round right after me. Um, it was the fifth round. I went in the fourth. He went in the fifth, and we hung out. We actually roomed together the first year. Um, it was it was kind of crazy back in those days. We could go to nightclubs and we didn't have to worry about people videotaping us,
right,
with their phones. It's like there's no such thing as a phone that could take pictures or anything. So,
right.
so we had a lot more leeway out there in the public, and things started to get a little crazy when Jim Kelly came on board. Then all of a sudden phones were, and people were taking pictures, and Jim got to the point where he was like, hell with this. I'm just going to build a nightclub in my basement and we'll have parties there. And that's what he did for many
Oh yeah.
years. I
Oh
remember
wow.
going to his parties and hanging out with him and the guys there. But um, yeah, I don't know if I could share any of those stories, man.
Not suitable for the internet.
Not suitable for children under 50. No,
Yeah.
whatever.
Um, so were you there? Bruce Smith is my favorite player and he's just amazing. And were you there at that time when they drafted Bruce, or had you already been kind of like, okay, they decided to go another way, or were you there
Well,
for
I
that
had I had
85?
I had left at that time. Yeah, I think Bruce came in like right. right at the end of my career, right? Like maybe 86 or something. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
the only one of that Super Bowl group that was there when I was my last year on the team was Daryl Talley.
Oh, okay.
He was, I think, the only guy, and then everybody else kind of came in the year after him. Jim and Bruce and Andre and those guys.
Yeah.
Uh, but what a great run they had, man. I wish they could have won at least one of those Super Bowls, but
Yeah.
just wasn't to be, and
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
always something.
Yeah, an amazing team, and even Frank Reich, doing the comeback, and I'm a Bills homer, and when they're looking for a new coach and Frank Reich's name came up, I was like, oh, that'd be awesome. But I don't know if he's even interested because I think he's in his mid 60s now. So, but
Well, what's interesting is Pete Carroll is still coaching, and Pete Carroll was my defensive back coach
oh yeah,
for Buffalo. Yeah, he
oh
was.
cool,
It was like 1983 or something. He came in 84. I forget. It was just right near the end of my career, and I actually didn't get to play under him, but I saw his coaching style, and it was amazing. He
Hmm.
had such a good way of talking to the players. I don't know what it is, but there are some coaches have the ability to connect with their players.
right,
It's one of those guys. Sean McDermott is one of those guys.
yeah,
They just they inspire you. They just make you want to die for them. And do everything you can. It's there's not too many of those coaches out there that you would say that like I'd die for that guy. you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
yeah,
those, yeah,
cool. Yeah, I mean, I love Sean McDermott. I'm a little bit bummed, but I sure
yeah.
hope they get it right. But I think he was such a breath of fresh air, and
Could you imagine? Let me ask you. Could you imagine if after the second Super Bowl loss they fired Marv Levy
oh
because he
gosh,
couldn't
yeah,
win a Super Bowl? I mean that
yeah,
John McDermott has taken in the playoff year in and year out. I don't know. It was really a shock to me, and I think it was a shock to a lot of the players. They just
yeah,
they love the guy, and
right,
he's the kind of coach that would die for you. So I feel bad about it, but you know what? It is what it is now, and so we got to do what we have to do to get the best coach that's out there and really get somebody that's I think more maybe a little more innovative. You know,
yeah,
I liked the stuff that McDonald was doing down in Miami. He was kind of like you weren't sure exactly what was happening on certain plays. He was
right,
so you got to trick players. You got to have your little trick plays in there, and I don't think enough teams use trick plays to run their offense. And why not? Like split out maybe just have your center, two guards, and then split everybody else out.
mm, yeah,
Where you've got linemen on the line, and so what you're doing is you're segmenting the field. So okay, let's say this team they don't have very good players on the left side of their defense, so we're going to do that quick screen and let that three or four guys that are out there block for them and just run. It's like running an offense on the sideline.
yeah,
You know, I mean, there's some coaches that are doing that in the college level. It seems like
mm,
a lot of the stuff that you see the NFL adopt, it's only after maybe years of seeing it successful in college football.
yeah,
Because that's where I see more innovation than the NFL.
right,
It's uh, but we'll see. I'm not sure who they really have in mind here. I thought maybe they might try and get Tomlin to come in,
mm,
uh, but now it seemed that I don't know if he's even signed with anybody yet. But
yeah. Yeah, it it will be tough, because you get behind a coach and you're like, this is our guy, and he's, so good for the locker room, and he's got such rapport with the players, and so then when I saw the news, it was early in the morning. I thought it was some kind of like parody or some kind of like
I did
joke,
too.
and
I
I had
did
to
too.
double check, and I was like, oh no, this is from a real play. This is the
Yeah,
real deal, and
when I
I
saw
was
some,
shocked.
yeah, I saw a news article about it. I said that could be a fake thing. So I went to a couple sports shows and I saw some people, some prominent sports broadcasters talking about, it, so I knew it was real.
Yeah,
Uh, but he's going to land on his feet, and I'm worried that he's going to fall to an AFC team and come back and haunt us.
yeah,
And it would be karma in a way.
Yeah.
He'll probably
But
steal some of our players too,
yeah.
So,
But good guy. I do hope whoever we get is equal or ready to take on his challenge. But
yeah.
we only have a few minutes left. I wanted to see if there was anything else like you wanted to talk about, player safety or what's going on in the NFL today or any anecdotes you're like, oh, I got to tell this story or anything like that that you wanted to get out there.
Well, I don't know. I was fortunate to play in the NFL. There's a lot of guys that get injured in college and they never get the opportunity to play. And but I can always hang my hat on that 1980 opening game when we beat Miami for the first time in 10 years. 20 straight losses to them at the
Yeah.
time, and I had really the best game of my career that day. I have a record that still stands to this day. It's four takeaways in that game,
Oh, that's
three
great.
interceptions, a fumble recovery, and and I just wish I could have played in the NFL a little bit longer. I don't have any regrets about, but I wish I could have played longer and had an opportunity because I think if I would have played longer, maybe a 10-year career, I would have set the NFL record for career interceptions, I think.
Yeah.
That was going to be my goal.
Yeah.
Because I'm right now, I think I'm either fourth or fifth all time in NCAA history
Mm,
with 23 career interceptions
okay.
and
Cool.
that's over a 4-year period. So I was thinking, well, give me I could probably get about 60 at least, I think, in the
Yeah.
NFL, but
Yeah.
it wasn't to be. But that's the way it is, and I'm one of the lucky ones that at least got to play in the NFL, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think, you seem to be a ball hawk and in just a couple of years having the numbers you had, the Bills record is still held by Butch Bird, which is 40. And that's, that he ended his career, I think it's 71 or something, and that's still the record. So, and nowadays quarterbacks don't throw as many picks. They're just more careful with the ball. And so I don't know if anybody's going to pass that Butch Bird record, but I think you're right. You could have definitely passed that, I think, if you would have stayed healthy, because
You never know. You never
yeah,
know.
you showed a ball hawking ability in those first couple years especially. And so that game you had three picks in one game and a fumble recovery.
All right.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
great.
and it was just I had to run off the field afterwards because the fans just came down and just they destroyed the field.
Yeah.
They took down both the goalposts. First game of the year. I don't know if that's ever happened before where a team had their fans tear down the goalposts after the first game of the year. I
Right.
could see it at the end when they won the championship, but not the first game. That's how much Buffalo needed that victory. It was
Yeah.
like the largest gorilla, 500-pound gorilla on your back that you can imagine, just every year losing 2 games to Miami for 10 straight years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pain to endure.
Right. I think that's still there. Like no matter what, we still want to beat the Dolphins. Like
Yeah,
that's the
right.
team we want to beat, no
That
matter
that
like
and that
what
in
happens.
New England, we it's interesting they almost reset the mark against New England. New England had beaten them like I forget how many 16 times in a row. Then
Yeah.
Buffalo finally beat them once, and then they continued to beat us for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So it just got interrupted in the middle there.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I do really appreciate your time. It's been really fun to talk. I think I could ask you questions forever, but we have the Zoom restrictions here. But I really appreciate it. If you're out there listening and a Bills fan, look up that Bills Alumni Association. You guys have a Facebook page
Yeah,
too, as well,
we
right?
have both the Facebook Buffalo Bills Facebook page. We have a website. It's just buffalobillsalumni.com. If anybody wants to go there, we have associate memberships. We're signing people up. We get a really nice shirt. Got our logo. Says associate member, Buffalo Bills Alumni Foundation. We'd like you to join us, and we're going to do a lot of good things. Like I said, all that money goes to charity, and we've got a lot of different ones here in Buffalo that we like to support.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeff. And you guys like and subscribe and share this video around to your Bills fans, friends, Bills friend fans. And I appreciate it, Jeff. I'm going to have to click off here, but thank you
Okay,
so much for your time.
thanks, Aaron.